Now,
Yeah.
welcome back to the lounge.
We're back at the lounge.
Two Millennials Talk. I'm Keon Rose. He's Russell Brown.
I could introduce myself, Keon. Thank
Well,
very
you know, we both forgot to introduce ourselves last
much.
week. So,
As I start to say, and you say, and he's Russell. I'm like, okay. All
okay.
right.
You know what? Next time.
All right, fine. And I'm Russell Stroud.
There you go. And we get together, and I don't even know what to describe this as.
Well, it's exactly what the title says. It's two millennials talking.
There you go.
I mean, we talk. It's what we do.
Not react, because I'm not trying to get sued by the Pine Brothers.
We should change the name to that just for a day, just to see how it would go. Like
Right.
1 week will be two millennials react, and we'll put react in all caps, and it'll be us with reaction faces looking shocked.
Right.
And then it'll be, two millennials react.
See if the Fine Brothers give us a takedown notice of our video.
And to make it more paradoxical, like the next week, we'll do commentary on that video. We'll react to the reaction video.
Perfect. That's exactly what I like.
So there we go.
Too meta to make any sense.
And then we'll make it a yearly tradition, so it just gets more and more and more meta to the point where it's like this shoegaze cacophony of us talking over each other.
Correct.
I'd go for it.
I would too.
Listen to that on my way into work. And I hope you would too.
I think I would. You just got to put a little beat underneath it.
Right.
And it, not a fast one, a really slow.
With droning guitar going.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of music we listen to.
That's what I listen to. My girlfriend hates it, but what do you do?
I tried to get my sister to listen to shoegaze, and you got to gradually get people into it, because you start with the most normie shoegaze you can find, which to me I think is Ride. If you just do Vapor Trail by Ride, that's it's pretty accessible.
That's true, yeah.
And you go from there to My Bloody Valentine, where it starts to get a little bit less accessible. Then you go to Jesus and Mary Chain. Then you start getting just weird.
Correct. Man.
That's my progression train when I'm trying to get people into it.
Right. So that it's just straight drone by the time.
Oh yeah, by the time
they get to anything.
They're just absolutely loving the Ecstasy of St. Teresa by the end of it. That's how I get people into shoegaze. I simulate them that way.
You're smart.
It's never worked.
I mean, I take them straight to the drone.
Oh, you shouldn't do that. No.
It's like jumping into the deep end of a pool. You either swim or you sink.
You can get the most normie you can get is have them listen to The Verve, because The Verve has heavy shoegaze influence. If you actually listen to Bittersweet Symphony and really listen to it, you can hear a lot of that in there.
Yeah, I actually like them.
They're really good.
Yeah.
Stuff other than Bittersweet Symphony is also really good.
Correct, but that song in particular is a really good
it's
song.
An amazing song, and it samples an arrangement of a John Lennon song, if I remember right. The
really
violin bit's actually a sample. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's an arrangement. No, Rolling Stones. Sorry, it's an arrangement of a Rolling Stones song that I forget the name of. My sister could tell me, but I don't remember.
So it's official then. We are creating a shoegaze band created around us reacting to ourselves ad infinitum.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Our jobs are audio production and talking, and for you, ad sales, because I'm too bad at that. So if we could somehow implement that into what you do, if we could somehow implement the radio sales part into the song, then it's even better.
Well, the radio sales is just basically me asking you if you would like to get radio advertising, you inevitably saying no, and then me rambling on about sports until finally, to get me to stop talking about sports, you agree to buy ads. That's basically been my strategy lately. Don't shut up until they say yes to something.
You had me that reminds me, speaking of anti-socialism, you had me watch Mr. Robot.
I did have you watch Mr. Robot.
And I love it, but I'm angry because they made an unauthorized series about me.
Oh.
I'm very upset that they've done this, and I'm suing.
I'm pretty sure that most of the people who watch Mr. Robot and enjoy it are basically us.
Probably, yeah.
I watched the first episode and I was like, this is too real. I want to stop watching.
That's what I thought. He starts doing his inner monologue about how much he hates other people, and he's talking in his head to the psychiatrist. And I was like, oh man, that's me. Oh geez, that's me though.
Yeah, it's too much though.
It really is.
It's funny because my brother recommended the show to me.
Oh, really?
And the reason why he recommended the show to me was,
oh no,
Elliot's like you. I was like, oh no, but he's crazy.
That's hey man, you should watch Breaking Bad because Walter White's a lot like you.
That's not a compliment.
It's really not.
It really isn't a compliment.
Have you gotten to season 2 yet?
Of
Mr. Robot?
I have.
So
actually.
it's even less of a compliment now that you know what you know.
The further in that I go, the more I'm like, okay, now I'm just mad at you.
I'm just a nutcase now.
Correct. Because I still agree. I still agree with them.
But the thing is, though, like I realized, like the more I watched it, I was like, I am a lot like this because I do talk to myself a lot. Like when I'm in the car, I talk to myself, and I'm not sure if that's a normal thing to do or not. Now, I just figured everyone did that, but now I don't think
I thought everyone did that too. I don't really talk to myself. I just talk to no one in particular.
I've done that before too. I've done like a whole radio show in my car driving home.
Me too.
That's frightening.
I just think that we're the right kind of crazy for radio. I just think that that's what it is.
I'll be listening to a podcast and I'll like pause it and start talking to myself. Be like, oh, these guys are boring. So on Binary today, did you hear about the, this?
I get into arguments with Sean Hannity in my car, which is interesting only because Sean Hannity is also not in the car with me.
Do you like pause, tune in?
I don't listen on TuneIn. I literally just listen on it. So I talk over him to disagree with him. So it's like most Sean Hannity conversations, actually.
So it's like Sean Hannity arguing with himself almost.
Correct.
Like a more rational version of himself, maybe.
I assume so. I hope that I'm the more rational version of Sean
Maybe
Hannity.
Himself with different opinions then.
Right. This is how he warms up for the show, to debate the liberals. He'll just...
He pretends to be one and then gets angry at himself.
Right. No, Sean, that's not the way it is. You tell me how it is, Sean.
They start, name one thing Hillary Clinton's ever accomplished that's ever good. And it plays the Jeopardy music. That's what I thought, Sean. So that's how Sean Hannity prepares for it. And I love Sean, by the way. I think he's a great guy, but
I think he's a good guy. I like him the person.
Yeah.
And I like his show a lot. His show is super entertaining.
Oh yeah.
I don't think you can deny the power that he has as a radio host.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying that because he's like on our station. I legit have always liked Sean Hannity, even when he was on other stations.
He's mastered the craft.
He really has.
It's tough. Him, Colin Cowherd's also on the station, but he has also mastered the craft.
He has.
They're just some guys, man.
I would name other people, but obviously I get a phone call and get told to not name other people. But I would name other people who are also good at their craft. Who I enjoy and appreciate.
We both like Howard Stern.
That's true.
He's a master.
We're going to get a phone call now. Thanks, Kean.
Yeah, there you go. But I will get the phone call this time because
Yeah.
I've never gotten a phone call telling me what to mention and what not to mention.
Oh, I have actually. I get texts, though.
Oh, really?
Like if I'm on the air, this is a trade secret. I get like texts like, mention this. It's just like specials and, mention this because of advertising, that sort of thing.
Right.
But there's a lot of like messaging that goes on when I'm on the air. There's a lot of that.
I think last holiday season was like the last series of texts I got in the middle of my show where I was talking, and then it was like, "Oh, mention Rick Davis."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, all right." I mean, I could do that. It's not,
and that's not like
he does pay to advertise here, so I mean, that's fine.
And that's not to say like we forget about Rick Davis. It's just like you get in the heat of a topic and you just forget that you're 5 minutes into your show and you've not mentioned a single advertiser.
Correct.
Because we're radio people and we forget things.
Yeah, I got into radio to talk about sports.
Right.
So remembering the advertiser who basically allows you to talk about sports.
Yeah.
That you got to remember to do that.
We forget the guy who puts gas in our car.
Right.
Sorry, dude.
So we got to do more of that, obviously.
The Olympics are coming up. Do you want to talk about
the Olympics are coming up? Well,
about that?
I would like to talk about the Olympics. I literally refused to talk about the Olympics today on my show.
Yes.
So that I wouldn't kill the thunder of talking about the Olympics on this show.
Well, let it out, Keon. Tell us what you think.
Because the Olympics are, to me, the most interesting thing because you have 8 years to prepare for the Olympics.
8 years
correct
in advance you are going to be.
You vote. You get nominated. Which first off, you have to nominate yourself.
Yes.
Other people have to nominate you, and then other people have to vote for you. So by the time you realize that you are hosting the Olympics as a city, it's not a surprise.
Right.
It's not a shock to anybody. Which is why the Olympics in Rio are so frighteningly hilarious.
Yeah.
They are not prepared.
They're really not. And they're taking safeguards to ensure that people don't realize how unprepared they are. Did you see the ban that they put out?
I did not see that.
This came up, 3 hours ago.
Oh, good.
So while you were doing show prep, this came up. Latest Olympics media rule nixes GIFs, Vines, and streaming apps. So no Periscope, no GIFs of things,
How can you stop that? How can you police that?
Well, probably what they'll do is because, and I don't know what the federal, if they have a federal government, I'm not sure how their government's structured, but I'll call it federal. I'm assuming they might make like a federal exception to blocking some internet traffic over the cell towers and over the Wi-Fi networks. So it's just like you can't get to it.
Okay.
Like you can't. So instead of trying to sue people en masse, they'll just, not let you get to Vine, or they'll not let you get to Imager or Reddit or whatever you might post on.
But the people who are coming to see the Olympic Games are not going to the Olympic Games and living in Rio. They will eventually go back home where they will post the GIFs and Vines and videos as much as they want to.
But, Keon, you're missing the point. The Olympics are, next to the Super Bowl, probably one of the biggest TV and media advertising opportunities ever.
Correct.
So if other people post any content whatsoever from their perspective, they are stealing your media commercial thunder, right? So, we don't care, because if someone came in and started filming us, we'd probably shoot them. But if someone came in and started filming us, we wouldn't care because of the intellectual property rights. We'd care because someone broke into our office.
Right.
Like, we don't care about the IP. Like, share it, please, because it gets the word out. Like, we're fine with that. And, like, any recording of us is open for distribution.
Right.
But the Olympics are not that way.
I understand that, but you can't stop everybody.
Oh, no, I agree completely.
And you've never stopped anybody before. It's just now that you've set up the Olympics in a way that just completely stinks.
Yeah.
That's your problem with it. Your problem is the opposite of our issue. If you came in here and started filming us, we want you to get the word out. They don't want you to get the word out about how horrible the Olympics are. And it is horrible. The list of things that's wrong with the Olympics, from the Australians showing up to their room in the Olympic Village and declaring it uninhabitable.
Yeah, and I don't think that was just them being divas, because they live in a giant desert with many poisonous animals.
Correct.
So they're not divas about that.
Also, I would agree that a place is uninhabitable when you flush the toilet and water comes out of the wall. That tends to be uninhabitable so far as I'm concerned. I don't even know how that happens. No, don't ask me that question. I'm not a plumber. We don't have Ray here, and I don't know how that works. I have no idea.
By the way, Ray's Plumbing.
Ray's Plumbing.
Call up Ray's Plumbing. Like, I have limited, although I do have some experience with installing toilets, believe it or not. I've done it before and helped other people do it before.
Okay.
There's no way that should happen.
There shouldn't be. It shouldn't be possible.
Unless, I mean, it is like a giant apartment complex. So I'm guessing like a fitting that feeds the toilet from, like, it goes through the wall, and just a fitting burst.
I
which
suppose
should not happen.
But I'm guessing that's what happened.
It's like they've never heard of like Loctite or Teflon tape or anything like that.
Who knows? But yeah. It's horrible. It's a bad situation to be in. So the Australian team couldn't live in their rooms. The media showed up. Now, here's the thing that surprises me, because you would think that the people who are going to complain the most and have a voice to complain the most, at least their rooms would be fine.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
The media village is as bad as the athletes village, if not worse. The Chinese state-run media agency, Xinhua, showed up to their rooms, where they found no outlets, no tables, no shower heads, no working bed. The bed looks like it's going to collapse in on itself. They took a picture of some of the screws. They're already bending, and nobody slept in the bed yet. So at this point, you have media members in non-functional rooms. And it's not just the Chinese. An Associated Press member went to his room. He took a shower. On his first shower in Rio, the shower head popped off. Just hit him right in the back. So I don't know what to tell you.
Well, Keon, what you're missing here actually is the follow-up story to that, which was they had actually accidentally gone to the wrong building. They went to the dorm rooms at the University of Rio de Janeiro, and that's why that happened. They missed the building.
That's what it was.
Made a wrong turn.
That makes more sense. That would, at this point, be a more acceptable explanation.
They made a wrong turn at Argentina. Because Albuquerque is too far away.
Obviously, they made a left when they should have made a right, and then they wound up in a building that didn't work.
What if they actually were in Argentina? Like, they're like, oh, this is terrible. Oh, wait, it's Argentina. Of course it's terrible.
Never mind. Our bad. We've just been trashing Rio for 6 months, and we didn't know why.
Can you imagine? What if it was Argentina where the Olympics are being held?
Is that... I mean, they would be even less prepared, would they not?
Yeah, I'm thinking, like, what could possibly be worse than what it is now? Like, what country could possibly be worse?
I guess you could go with South Africa because the World Cup showed me that South Africa really can't have the Olympics.
It just showed me that I hate vuvuzelas.
Oh, that's the watch this on mute situation.
Yeah. Remember YouTube had the vuvuzela button?
Yes.
Yeah, and like on YouTube, you could click the little button. It would just replace all the audio with sounds of vuvuzelas.
I do remember that. ESPN started to come up with a microphone that would cancel out the vuvuzela sound.
That's impressive, actually.
Yeah, and so in the last few games, it was it wasn't completely gone, but it was listenable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ouch. I'm so glad I don't care about football.
I watched it. I do care, and it hurt my ears.
I would like to see an American or Chattanooga. Was it the regional Hamilton County Football Club? What is it here?
We have Chattanooga FC.
The Chattanooga FC. I like, because it's local. I feel like I could get into that.
It is, and you know what? They're good. Apart from the fact that they're a local soccer team, they're good. Like if you go out there and watch Chattanooga FC, you're watching actual good soccer.
Yeah, like I'm not going to name names, but some teams you go to that are local, you're just like, I mean, support them.
You support them because they're here.
Yeah,
I think if you're a sports fan in Chattanooga, now's a really good time to be a sports fan. Go out to support UTC. They're good, football and basketball, men and women. Softball team, they're good. They're going to be good next year. Chattanooga FC, they're good.
Yep.
Like, the Lookouts, they're good. Like now is the time to go out and watch those teams.
What is it that the Lookouts is a farm? Whatever. What's the wording for that? Like
they're a farm team for the Minnesota Twins.
Never heard of them.
No. The Minnesota Twins aren't good, but the Lookouts are.
I've only heard of the Braves. I'm sorry. There are only three teams I've heard of: the Red Sox, the Atlanta Braves, all one word, and of course the Yankees.
The Yankees.
The Yankees are really good, actually. And by the way, I have to mention, I just got a text. I have to mention that we will be giving election coverage for Hamilton County tomorrow, because the election results are going to be coming in. We got several important elections happening. You have the school board and the assessor of property and a few others as well. So very important stuff actually affects us here in Hamilton County. So we'll be giving the election results tomorrow, and we'll be giving you coverage on Facebook as well. So the election in Hamilton County, very cool stuff, very important stuff. We'll keep you covered here on Hot News Talk Radio.
Cool, man.
There you go.
It's really cool to just watch you just slip back into news person. Like, just I'm just going to take off the millennial hat here, put the news hat on, and then jump back.
I don't know, man. It's just like you do it long enough, and you can do it,
It's like part of your personality now.
It's like, man, what if I'm like schizophrenic and like some days I wake up and I'm like a news person, the other day I wake up and I'm just like this dumb kid?
What happens if one day you go out on a date as News Russell?
That would be really boring.
I can only imagine.
Fortunately, I don't have to worry about that for a while, but yeah, no, I'm out of the dating game for a while, I'll be honest.
Oh, man.
Because I think that might have happened one time.
Oh, no. I didn't look, it happens to the best.
Let's just say I created and reported on the story. It was a scene, man. But we covered it exclusively on Hot News Talk Radio.
There you go.
The next morning, newscast was nothing but me crying.
Just weeping into your hands.
And then Mike Wood comes on with traffic.
It's raining in at least the studio. Not raining out here.
Chance of rain here in the studio.
100%.
Yeah. So the Olympic Committee, apparently, according to TechCrunch, has always been restrictive in who can use what footage and when, but a couple new rules introduced for the 2016 games take things even further. Not farther, but further. The official social media guidelines now prohibit streaming apps, vines, and even the lowly GIF, the graphics interchange format, motion picture image thing that's really popular still, even though it's like an ancient technology now.
Right.
WebM should be what we're all watching. But
WebMs have sound. How can you... It's everything that a GIF is, except it's in higher quality and has sound.
It's like, it seriously is what everyone should be using for like all media, because WebM is the king of all internet streaming formats. It's small, it's efficient, it's good quality, has sound. I've seen GIFs that were larger than the equivalent WebM, like equivalent size, everything. They're larger in file size. So there's no reason to not use WebM. Now, like some phones don't support, like iPhones don't take WebM at all. They won't.
Which that's unfortunate.
They won't watch WebM because Apple is Apple, and it doesn't like VP8 decoding because VP8 is the codec it uses, and it was developed in part by Google.
No, so we're just not even gonna. All right.
Yeah. So
well, I don't have an iPhone, so that's not really my problem.
I have an Android phone, and I can watch WebMs all the dang time. I've got zillions of them saved on my phone.
I watch WebMs constantly, and with there we are.
Hey,
with WebMs load even when my internet is terrible.
Yeah,
when my data is bad. I'm not going to name my service provider.
We have the same one though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it somehow works out.
It's great.
We're going to continue trashing the Olympics here on Two Millennials Talk on the other side of this break.
You're hurting me, baby. I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240. You and I know that real men are prepared for anything. You know what I'm talking about because you're a Take Charge guy. Everyone's talking about Grimm's Tactical, featuring first responder gear, survival gear and equipment, Voodoo Tactical, Leapers. For personal protection, Grimm's Tactical features non-lethal personal protection gear, AR/AK parts, knives, canning and dehydrating equipment. If you hike and camp, Grimm's Tactical has got what you're looking for. Bags and packs. And for your side piece, concealed carry holsters. For men and women. Plus, Grimm's Tactical carries a wide variety of freeze-dried food. Wise Mountain House. Backpacker's Pantry. Grimm's Tactical, where law enforcement shops. Safari Lane. Blackhawk. 511. First responder gear at Grimm's Tactical. Grimm's Tactical, 8115 East Brainerd Road, in the shopping center next to the Walmart Marketplace. Look for the Mighty Mini U-Haul office. Grimm's Tactical is right next door. Grimm's Tactical, 8115 East Brainerd Road. Finding just the right place to live can be a daunting task. Stop your search. In Chattanooga, the place to live is Cross Creek Villas for under $1,000 and available for immediate move-in. You can enjoy this 2-bedroom split layout, over 1,000 square feet, 9-foot ceilings, an extra-large patio or balcony. And don't forget to ask about their preferred employer program. Cross Creek Villas is a gated community, offering a 24-hour fitness facility, a beautiful pool and hot tub, and Cross Creek Villas is pet-friendly. Stroll the pet park with your best friend and enjoy the free use of their business center and clubhouse. Plus, if you mention you heard this on the radio, your application fee is free. Cross Creek Villas, close to downtown off of Highway 58. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com. That's crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. That's 894-0446. Redefine the way you live at Cross Creek Villas. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. Cross Creek Villas.
Lingering showers and storms will slowly settle down through the nighttime. Some late fall developing, low 70 to 72. For Friday and Saturday, continued hot and humid with partly cloudy skies. A few isolated afternoon storms popping up each day with highs back into the lower 90s. Looking for your dream home? McBriar Realty can help. With decades of experience, they get big-time results with small-town values. Licensed for the tri-state, check McBriarRealty.com for their complete listings. And I'm Storm Team 12's Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr. On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. Hamilton County now has its first confirmed case of Zika virus. Apparently, a resident of Hamilton County traveled overseas to an infected area and then came back, bringing the Zika virus with him. There's currently no vaccine to prevent infection and no specific antiviral treatments for Zika virus. However, you can take protective steps to not get it in the first place, including using DEET and dumping out standing water in your yard. The suspect is being hunted down after the wrong way chase on I-75 has been added to the TBI's top 10 most wanted list. Anyone with any info about James Brian Miller's whereabouts is asked to call the TBI, 1-800-TBI-FIND. There's a $1,000 reward for information leading to his arrest. And a Macaulay graduate's on the U.S. Olympic swim team. He's qualified for the men's 10K marathon, a grueling 2-hour swim in the ocean. Macaulay grad Sean Ryan on the U.S. Olympic swim team will be cheering him on. It's going on in Tennessee Valley. It's going on Hot 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
Hot News Talk 1240.
This is Two Millennials Talk here on Hot News Talk Radio. And we were trashing the Olympics.
I'm Russell Stroud.
There you go. We're working on it. You're getting there. And I'm Keon Rose.
To get my timing done.
Yeah, that's the only issue. That's all. Got to hammer out a few things here so that we can sound like real professionals.
I suppose those posers, those fakes.
Right.
We're real professionals, unlike those guys over at X radio station that is our rival. Unlike those posers.
Yeah.
We do this for a living.
Is it bad to call somebody out specifically, or is it just poor form?
I think it's just poor form because I think they're great guys and they're good at what they do.
Yeah,
but they're posers and losers.
I don't think there's anybody in this city that's really bad at radio that's on radio.
I can name people who are really bad at TV, but I can't name anyone who's really actually bad at radio. I can name a few, I wouldn't, but I could name a few people who I know I'm better than, just in terms of sheer talent. And that's not tooting my horn. That's taking their horn away and throwing it in the trash.
Right.
I just think I'm better than some of them.
I don't think you're wrong. You're really good though.
Thank you.
So I don't know. Maybe don't throw their horn in the trash.
Just let them be who they are, man. I mean, they got into radio. They got the gig. So who am I to talk down to them?
Right.
Because in the end, people talk about rivalry, and there are rivalries between radio stations. That's for sure. And we'll have one eventually, I'm sure. We just got to pick one. We're still vetting them. But honestly, when it comes right down to it, we all do radio and we all do what we love. So deep down, I like them all, honestly.
Yeah. I think I just like rivalries because I think that brings out the best in everybody when you just have somebody that you're competing against and trying to overcome.
Not me. I fight dirty. Taking you down.
Oh, no. But speaking of rivalries gone horrifyingly sideways, the biggest villain in the Marvel universe is Thanos. The biggest villain in the DC universe is Rotten Tomatoes.
That's good.
And I definitely stole that from some meme that I saw somewhere.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. I don't even know where I saw it.
Well, no, you shouldn't have said that because then, if no one has a timestamp, they just think that you said it first.
Oh, man.
Someone listened is that's really good.
Don't worry. I steal memes all the time. This will not be. I will learn from this.
Got to move my neck beard off my keyboard and write this down.
Right. So, DC, thwarted by Rotten Tomatoes again, because Man of Steel and Batman v Superman definitely been through the ringer. And now Suicide Squad has gotten a poor
30%.
Oh, gosh.
30% rotten.
Good Lord. Okay. I'm still going to watch it. I'm excited about
97% of Rotten Tomato users would agree with you, though, because 97% want to see it.
Okay.
And we're among the 97%. We're not part of the 1% that doesn't, or 3% that doesn't.
All right. But you have an interesting story about DC fans and Rotten Tomatoes.
Do I?
Well, I thought you did.
Do I?
And what they want to do to Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, well, they actually want to take down the site.
For disagreeing with
They
them.
want to hack the site.
You don't have the same opinion that I have. How dare you?
I'm sorry. I thought you meant I had an encounter with a rabid DC fan.
Oh, no.
I talked him down because I like DC. I was like, I don't have any choice. I like DC.
Oh, man.
No, but yeah, although I will say the Nolan era was clearly the golden era for DC films. Even Man of Steel wasn't horrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible.
I would say it has less of the Zack Snyder isms, and therefore probably a better film just based on that.
The creepy, biblical references.
Yeah, they're just unnecessary, a very large amount. And I was just the only... I understand that Zack Snyder's big thing is I'm going to take these heroes and I'm going to deconstruct them, and I'm going to deconstruct them biblically because,
right.
I mean, at least with Superman, there's obvious biblical parallels there.
Yeah.
But man, Batman v Superman, there was just so much.
I haven't seen it yet because I'm almost afraid to.
There was way too much.
I'm afraid I'll watch it and I'll like it is the thing. That's kind of what I'm afraid of. I'll watch it and I'll be like, oh, this is a pretty good movie. I don't know what other people are complaining about.
That's a fear that was confirmed for me. I watched the movie in the theater. I was at a movie theater in Florida.
Ooh.
And after the movie, everybody stood up and gave a standing ovation to Batman v Superman.
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like think about Phantom Menace when it came out, though. Like, everyone loved it. Like, I remember when the Phantom Menace came out,
Yeah.
people weren't trashing it yet.
Yes.
That came like later. Like, people hated it a month after. Like, the diehard fans hated it, and then normies hated it suddenly. But like, I watched it when did it come out? 99? 4. I watched it when I was 4. I love that movie.
Is it more common for a movie that's well received to turn sour, or a movie that's poorly received for us to change our minds on that one?
I think the latter, because think about movies like Blade Runner, Alien, lots of the sci-fi movies that we really like were not too well received when they came out.
That is true.
Especially pre-Star Wars sci-fi movies. Like 2001, people liked it, but they didn't get it. So it wasn't like talked about too much.
Right.
Then the internet came around and people were like, oh, what a great movie. So it's kind of like that, I think. So I think it's more common for a previously perceived to be bad movie to become a cult classic. Like Ferris Bueller's Day Off was not very popular when it came out.
That's true.
It was only when it came on TV. It's a Wonderful Life was not very well received at all.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, and then it got played on TV as a rerun constantly because it was a cheap movie.
Right.
It was like cheap to get the rights to play it. So it played and it became like a Christmas tradition, and now it's like everyone's favorite Christmas movie because it's a really good movie.
It actually is a good movie.
It's a great movie. Miracle on 34th Street, another Christmas movie, same way. Like, people didn't like it because it came out in like July. Yeah. Yeah, it came out in theaters in July.
Well, that's just...
People were like, this is dumb.
Poor planning.
I want a movie about, Batman, because they made Batman serials back then.
Huh.
Yeah. So I guess that's my little spiel about bad movies actually being pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think when it comes to that, I think sometimes the release of the movie and the hype of the movie and everything around it definitely gets to us, and we judge it based on that.
Very true. Like Star Wars, the new one, could have been horrible. Like, even if it was a good movie, it could have been horrible, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, just if they had done it wrong and done it poorly, I don't think that anything that J.J. Abrams is involved in is going to be done poorly in terms of release, though.
No, he's the master of the hype train.
Correct. And keeping things a secret and all of that stuff and just building the tension, where I feel like maybe DC and Zack Snyder, like they're the exact opposite. Like, maybe it's possible Batman v Superman wasn't that bad, but like they just were building up the hype, and then they had a trailer that showed everything.
I think, I feel like Batman v Superman, and again, I haven't seen it yet, but I feel like Batman v Superman had the opposite of the intended consequence with releasing stuff, because like with Star Wars, especially Rogue One, I am so hyped for Rogue One.
Me too. I was not even a Star Wars fan for like most of my life.
Yeah.
I've pretty much just seen 6. I've seen episode 6.
Okay. Return of the Jedi.
I've seen not the original trilogy, but 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Well, 1's pretty good, 2's horrible, 3's mediocre.
And I've seen 7.
7's really good.
That's all I've seen, and I'm very excited about it.
You haven't seen Empire Strikes Back?
I have not seen it, no.
Dude, you gotta come over to my place and watch Empire Strikes Back sometime.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna figure this out.
And you gotta watch the other one too, but the only other one, A New Hope. There we go. Episode 4, A New Hope. I've got them on Laserdisc, like the original version. So
okay,
yeah,
we'll figure this out next week. I promise. We're gonna figure this out.
Okay.
And I'm gonna watch Empire Strikes Back finally.
Okay. But no, like I think Abrams has figured out the hype thing. Like, think about Cloverfield when that was first coming out, where like you didn't see the monster, and that was the cool thing about it until the movie came out and we were all disappointed. But before Cloverfield came out, it was like possibly the best movie to ever come out before it came out. And then after it came out, everyone just sort of was disappointed by it. It wasn't that good. I watched it and I was disappointed. I was like 10. But the new Justice League movies have like the opposite problem, because the more information they come out with, the more disappointed people get.
Which is crazy, because it's not like people are disappointed when the information comes out.
Yeah.
People are hyped when the information comes out. It's when the actual movie comes out, none of the information seems to help the movie.
Yeah, it's like again, like DC can do that well because they had that sneak preview of the plane scene from Dark Knight Rises, and people were hyped as all heck. Like, I saw that, and I was a huge fan of the Batman trilogy too. Like, oh my gosh, when they show like that's what Bane's gonna look like, he's not like a Mexican luchador or whatever. Heck yeah. And they're like, yeah, and Scarecrow's gonna be in Batman Begins. Heck yeah. The Joker, amazing. Or like that's all cool stuff. And then they're like, oh yeah, and Suicide Squad. Look, it's got Harley Quinn. It's a new character design. You're like, okay. Look at the Joker. It's a new character design. You're like, oh, okay.
People warmed up to it too. It's weird because people eventually come around, and then the movie comes out, and everyone's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's like the ideas themselves aren't terrible. It's just how they're implemented that just doesn't seem to work very well. It's like you got a cool concept, and you just sort of fall flat on it. One day I'm going to sit down and just analyze this because I want to know why that is. Because I watched the new Justice League trailer after, Batman v Superman. I don't know if I was going to be super excited for Justice League. Yeah.
Then they showed some stuff from it at Comic-Con, put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm excited again. I'm back.
Oh.
I'm back on it again.
Okay.
It was just a really cool trailer. Like the Flash's suit looks really cool. He looks really cool.
Is he wearing the World War I type Brody helmet, or is he wearing the skin tight suit?
It's the World War I type helmet.
Heck yes, I love that one.
Yeah, and so there's two suits apparently. There's the one that he originally makes himself.
Yeah, with the ring, or does that come later?
I think that comes later. He makes one, and then Batman helps him refine it because I've got infinite money, so why wouldn't I help you refine it?
And they're like good buddies, sort of.
Yeah,
like Batman and Flash get along funnily well. They just never show it.
The Flash gets along with everybody.
That's true.
That's
just Barry though.
Yeah. Where like the Flash and where Green Lantern and Batman just don't get along. It's just never going to happen.
Yeah.
No Green Lantern ever gets along with Batman. Ever.
I don't know why that is, because you'd think they would mesh really well. Like if Batman can make Green Lantern do the smart things that Batman would want him to do, you'd think they get along really well.
Which is why he doesn't have a huge problem, I don't think, with Jon Stewart.
Yeah. Jon Stewart's a cool character, though.
Yeah.
Really
but Hal is an idiot.
That's true.
Guy
Which is weird because he's a fighter pilot. Like fighter pilots are supposed to be some of the most like intelligent people on the planet.
And he is intelligent, I think, in terms of like numbers and things make sense to him.
Like he's IQ smart, but
common sense is not his forte.
Yeah.
The number of things, like you can find the old 60s comics of Hal Jordan just like being knocked out by slipping on a bar of soap and stuff like that. And you're just like, what is wrong with this
I've got an omnibus in black and white of that, and it's like comically bad sometimes.
It's like, what is wrong with him?
And then he comes up with these ridiculous solutions like, I'll make a vial to hold this poison with my ring. And it's like, okay, just get one then. Like,
or pour it away. You don't have to hold it.
Yeah.
And then he pours it on himself. So it's just Hal Jordan.
And some of them, he would make an airplane. I remember, like he would make an airplane with his ring and fly around in it. And I'd be like, just fly.
But you can fly.
Yeah. Well, I guess he couldn't yet. Like
I suppose
like Superman couldn't fly until later. He
right.
Just jumped over tall buildings in a single bound.
Fair enough.
Speaking of trailers, one more thing, by the way. Have you seen the trailer for Dunkirk, the new Nolan movie?
I have not. But I will find it.
I am mega hyped for it because it's two things I really like: World War I,
okay,
and Christopher Nolan.
Yeah,
and I know it's like it's seen as plebeian to like Nolan as much as I do.
Yeah, but I don't care. Nolan can do no wrong in my eyes.
Yeah, exactly. I love like
there are a few directors and he's there.
Every single movie he's done, I've really liked. So either I'm stupid or people just don't like him as much as they should. I think people don't like him as much as they should.
I think that's what it is. He's such a brilliant director. Like I watched the extra features in Inception.
Yeah.
And just watching how he planned out that whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's a genius.
And the filming and choreography and cinematography techniques he used, like the room that would rotate for the no gravity stuff.
Yeah.
Genius.
He's brilliant.
Yeah. And his brother's a great writer. So it's like his family's like high IQ, man.
Inception is my second favorite movie.
Really? What's your first?
Goodfellas.
I haven't seen Goodfellas.
Oh my gosh!
I know it's like
that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna watch Empire Strikes Back and Goodfellas.
It's I can't watch it with my parents around. They yell at me. But yeah, it's like one of those things where it's one of those movies where I should have seen it, but I haven't. Like I haven't seen The Godfather, and I know I should see it.
Okay. In fairness, I also haven't seen The Godfather. Okay. I can't shame you on that one.
Well, you haven't seen Empire Strikes Back, so
yeah, fair.
Yeah. At least you've seen Blade Runner, so that's all the sci-fi you needed, really.
I feel like that's what it was too. Like I just topped out.
Yeah, it's like it can't get better than this.
Like I watched Blade Runner, and then I watched the director's cut of Blade Runner, and then I was like, I have achieved enlightenment.
But have you seen the work print?
You showed me some of it.
Yeah, and it's got some really cool scenes in it that aren't in the actual movie.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of extra stuff that's not in the movie that really adds to the atmosphere and the universe.
Right. I will probably check that out.
Yeah.
And it is about time for my annual Blade Runner watching. I haven't seen it this year yet.
You also watch it annually?
Yes.
That's weird.
I mean, it's a great movie. I don't know.
I was surprised you like. Keon also watches this movie.
There's some movies I watch them annually. Inception is also one that I watch every year.
Groundhog Day is one for me, like every Christmas, and Die Hard.
Die Hard every Christmas.
Yep.
Actually, I think there's like a number of Nolan movies that I watch annually. I watch The Prestige very often.
I haven't seen The Prestige in a long time. Actually, I have seen it, but it's not in a long time.
So good.
It really is good. I just forgot it was a movie he did for some reason.
Yeah, because I think in his whole catalog, it's one of the more understated movies.
Yeah, that's very true.
Like it doesn't have that sort of go-to scene, that iconic. This is the quintessence of this movie.
Right.
But it's so good.
I think the reason people forget about it is because The Illusionist came out around the same time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as good. So people think like, oh yeah, The Illusionist. Like, no. Prestige.
The Illusionist is good, but The Prestige blows that movie out of water.
They're both great movies, but Prestige is Paul Giamatti. Better.
Yeah.
So, sorry. You want to look at some weird news?
Let's look at some weird news.
To finish it out. Okay. So this is from Fox. We are affiliated, of course, with, well, not affiliated. They don't own us or anything, but we carry Fox News. We got contracts with Fox News and all that. Fox Radio News. So it's okay to use Fox stuff, basically is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I use Fox Sports all the time.
Yeah.
I'm a company man.
Absolutely. So Fox News has in their odd news category, which is always entertaining, dog crashes car into West Virginia Walmart.
I heard this story the other
and
day,
the absolute best editorial comment I've seen in a long time. Turns out a dog's park was worse than its bite.
Oh, no.
A terrier got behind the wheel of its owner's car in West Virginia, of course, on Friday. It was either West Virginia or Florida, right? And managed to drive the vehicle for a few feet before crashing into a Walmart entrance, according to WSAZ. A second dog riding shotgun somehow rolled down the passenger window after the collision. I like to think it was a manual window. You gotta roll it down.
The dog was just that smart, just smacking the little thing.
It's like Lassie. It's like Lassie and Beethoven.
Right.
The elderly woman who owned the dogs left her car running so the dogs could stay cool as she grabbed a few items at the store, a witness said to the news station. But the puppies apparently decided to take a joyride instead. The store employee said that there were no injuries in the building and car suffered only slight damage. The owner drove the car home after the crash. WSAZ reported, and the dogs had their driving privileges suspended. That's really in the article. I just love the idea of these dogs decide suddenly getting sentience and deciding to drive the car and then forgetting immediately and crashing it.
Right. Just self-aware long enough to start the vehicle and roll down the obviously manual window. Obviously.
We must drive.
Right.
Also, in Olympic news, you might have seen this. In fact, you probably did. If you mentioned it on Clutch, I'm sorry, I missed that part. IOC adds 5 new sports to the games for the actual Olympic Games that I'm actually excited for, Tokyo 2020.
Yes.
Because that sounds like a sci-fi movie.
It does sound like a sci-fi movie. And you know what? I hope it is a sci-fi movie. I hope by 2020, the Olympics are just completely...
Well, think about this. Speaking of Blade Runner. Think about this. 2019 is when Blade Runner takes place.
Oh, man.
But in the script, it took place in 2020, believe it or not. That was the last second change that they made. So when it pops up and says LA, Los Angeles, 2019, they actually changed that because the original title of the movie in its first draft was 2020.
Really?
The name of Blade Runner was going to be 2020.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so there you go. So if you think skateboarding is a pursuit for hooded teenagers, says CNN, congregating under a bridge and not interested in reaching the pinnacle of world sport, it's time to think again. Obviously, these people never watch the X Games, but
right.
Needless to say,
Skate League, like that stuff on there it's really good.
It's great stuff, man. So 5 new sports: karate, awesome; surfing, sports climbing, and baseball/softball are all going to be in the Olympic Committee. And the 5th one, of course, is skateboarding.
Yeah, that's really, really cool.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited about all of those. I don't think that most of those sports get the recognition they deserve.
Especially karate, because judo always overshadows karate.
Right. Which seems weird to me.
Because if you've ever watched a point match for karate, it's like interesting stuff, like really interesting stuff.
So I'm excited to be able to just, watch that and actually have like a reason to watch it. Like, oh, this is going to be in the Olympics, so I'll be able to follow this person possibly on the way to the Olympics. Also, baseball, Japan's going to dominate that. Just letting you know, the Americans created the World Baseball Classic so we could all get the world to appreciate baseball, and we have yet to win a single one.
Well, that just shows what good sportsmen we are, though, because we keep holding it. Right. We could just say, screw you guys, it's over.
It's all over. But no, we keep holding the World Baseball Classic, and Japan keeps winning.
Like the angry chess player who flips the chessboard over when he starts losing. That could be America, but it's not, because we're good sportsmen. Unless we start, losing wars, then we'll just napalm you to death. But there's more weird news. Woman recording a video of her gun. Everyone should have a gun. Mistakenly shoots her phone, investigators say. Now, I'm a big proponent of gun safety here.
Correct.
And I'm fine with her owning a gun, but she should know, because common sense, do not have your finger on the trigger when you're playing with your gun. In fact, don't play with your gun in the first place. It's fine to, there's an obscene term for playing with your gun, but fingering it. You play around with your gun, you look at it, you cock it a few times. People do it. It's safe. As safe as any object can be. But pointing it loaded at your phone and then accidentally pulling the trigger, what's your problem, man?
You whatever happened to your phone, you deserve that. You deserve that.
And honestly,
I just hope nobody else got hurt from your stupidity. I
don't think anyone else actually probably read the article. I don't think anyone else did. But here's the thing too about guns. I'm assuming it's a handgun. Let's see. Her uncle's gun, okay. She got a small cut to her right thumb and index finger. She told deputies she'd been trying to make a Snapchat video of the .40 caliber handgun when she accidentally pulled the trigger. What?
That shouldn't be possible if your hand is not on the trigger.
Pulling a trigger is it's not hard, but it's not easy either. If that makes any sense, you have to try. In my experience, anyway.
That seems.
You have to try.
That's a ridiculous situation to be in.
I'm thinking she was doing the thing where it's look how cool I am, click, click, and it was loaded.
It was loaded.
You know how easy it is to check if a gun's loaded? Very easy.
Very easy. I've never used a gun before.
Yeah.
Which is weird for someone having been in the South for as long as I've been in the
South.
Especially
Texas.
Right. But here's the thing. I am a big supporter of people's rights to own guns.
Sure.
But also, don't be an idiot with guns.
Right.
Try not to be an idiot with guns.
It's the same thing with cars. You know, anyone can drive a car as long as, they can drive a car. There's the whole licensing issue and everything. But as long as you're being safe with a car, no one should care if you have one. As long as you're being safe with a gun, no one should care if you have one. And she was being very, very unsafe with a gun that did not belong to her either. So that's A, theft by taking, and B, I don't know, just charging a firearm within city limits probably.
And if she did it in her house, then it's in an apartment complex or something, then that's
criminal negligence.
Yeah,
possibly,
mm-hmm.
Or at least reckless endangerment.
I forget what it was that they charged those kids at Georgia, the two wide receivers. That fired off the BB guns in their room.
Wasn't it gross negligence or something like that?
It was something like that, where it's just come on, you guys.
Yeah, it's seriously
$18,000 worth of damage.
I didn't realize that part.
Just firing BB guns.
How dumb do you have to be?
I don't know. And then 2 Florida players did it later.
Well, of course, Florida players did it, but Georgia players?
I don't know, man.
It's not fair, man.
You've been listening to 2 Millennials Talk. I'm Keon Rhodes.
I'm Russell Stroud.
Timing is perfect. We'll see you all next week.
See ya.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Look at you